Hello friends, golfers and sports bettors. The wait is finally over. Yes, it's 6 months later from when it was originally scheduled, but the Masters is finally here, the first ever Masters in November. Now I have a lot to get through from a betting angle for this, so let's not waste any time. We're gonna jump right into it and start with the top 5 golfers on the odds list to win the 2020 Masters. The betting favorite as of right now is Bryson DeChambeau at plus 800. Now don't forget, he won the most recent major on the PGA Tour, which was the US Open back in September. Next on the odds list, Jon Rahm and Rory McIlroy are tied at 11-1. Now the big thing you got to remember for Rory McIlroy is he can complete the career Grand Slam here at the Masters. He's won the 3 other majors before. The only thing he's missing is the green jacket. So he has a chance to complete that career Grand Slam. Next on the odds list is Dustin Johnson and Justin Thomas, both coming in at 12-1. Now don't forget, I will let you guys know I'm recording this about 8 days before opening tee-off, so the odds might shift a little bit between now and then, especially in today's day and age where guys can withdraw for health reasons. But if nobody does withdraw, these odds should relatively stay right around the same. Now, I did just touch on the top 5 guys on the odds list. There's one other guy that, of course, I have to talk about before we go any further, and that is the 2019 defending champion Tiger Woods. His odds this year are 25-1. Obviously, we all remember his historic tournament back in 2019 when he won the major, but his odds heading into that tournament was 12-1. So we've seen quite a bit of a drop between 2019 and 2020, and a big reason because of that is because he's had no top 20s in his last 7 straight starts on the PGA Tour. He has not played well recently. Now, I will be honest with you guys, if you remember the 2019 version of this video, I specifically told you not to bet on Tiger Woods, and I said that he wasn't going to win. Well, then we all know what happened. This went on and happened. He ended up winning. So I will not be telling you guys not to bet on Tiger Woods. Am I going to bet on him at 25-1 with how bad he's been playing recently? No. But if you want to put a little bit of money on Tiger Woods just for fun, I don't blame you. Go ahead. Best of luck. Now, I am obviously going to get into the key stats that I always like to give out in these videos, but before I do that, with Augusta National being a special little place, there's a few things that I want to point out that you should keep in mind for this event as well. First thing is weather. As I mentioned, I'm 8 days out, so I can't give you guys a weather report, but this course completely changes depending on the weather. If it's rainy, especially windy, you're going to want to look for those accurate guys. They don't necessarily need to hit it that far, but if they can keep it in the fairways, that's going to be huge if the weather's not great. But if the weather is sunny, if the greens are going to be fast, those bombers that can just gouge the golf course, they're going to do very well if it is sunny and hot out. Next is lefties. Augusta National has actually favored lefties quite a bit. The style of the course favors left-handed hitters, especially the famous 13th hole really favors left-handed hitters who are able to hit a fade there. And this kind of keeps up when you look at the results as well, because left-handed hitters have won this tournament quite often over the past 20 years. Phil Mickelson, obviously the most famous left-handed hitter, he's won this event 3 times. Bubba Watson has won it twice. And then back in 2003, the Canadian who won it, Mike Weir, is also a lefty. So you might want to keep an extra eye on those lefties this week. And then past performance. Obviously, we all know the Masters is played at Augusta National every single year, same course every year. So if you take a look at past performance and how golfers have done in previous years at this event, that'll give you a good idea of how well their style of play fits the course. So now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at those 5 key stats that I mentioned earlier. The first one we're going to look at is ball striking. What ball striking is it's total driving combined with greens and regulation. So, I mean, Augusta National is obviously one of the toughest courses in the world. You can't really have holes in any part of your game, but if there is one part of your game you can be a little bit subpar at and get away with, it's driving. So I'm not looking at driving completely separate. I'm just going to toss it in there with ball striking so we can combine it with greens and regulation. And why am I doing that? Well, greens and regulation is going to be important, especially this next stat as well, strokes gained approaching the green, because I think the most important stat at Augusta National is how well you are with an iron in your hand when you're approaching the green. So that takes greens and regulation into account and strokes gained approaching the green. We want good iron players this week. Next, a little bit of a more specific one, par 4 efficiency from 450 to 500 yards. So 5 of the 10 par 4s at Augusta National are within that 50-yard distance, and then 4 more are really close. So there's one that's 505, there's 2 that are 440, and then one that's 445. So really 9 of the 10 par 4 holes are right either inside that distance or just outside that distance. So let's kind of narrow down in on this stat. And then the next 2, scrambling percentage, the most underrated stat in my opinion, especially at more difficult golf courses. If you're not going to get on the green in regulation, you have to get back on it and save par. So scrambling is very important. And then we all know strokes gained putting, especially at Augusta National. Probably the most famous greens in the world for how fast they are, how slippery they are. There's no straight putt at Augusta National. You're going to have to play off the curve. So we need good putters at the Masters. So those are my 5 key stats. Let's take a look at my picks to win the 2020 Masters. My top pick is going to be Justin Thomas at 12-1. The main reason why I like Justin Thomas is because nobody on the PGA Tour is better with an iron in his hand than Justin Thomas. In 2020 season, he finished first in strokes gained approaching the green. If his irons are hot this week, you better watch out. Also, he's been getting progressively better every single year at the Masters as well. Tied for 39th, and then tied for 22nd, tied for 17th, and then tied for 12th in his last 4 Masters appearances. So he's been getting better every single year at Augusta. Now, I will say the one thing for Justin Thomas, his one weak point, the thing that's kind of keeping him from being the best golfer in the world is his putting. He ranked in 2020 112th in strokes gained putting, but we've seen his putter get hot before as well. So if he can even putt half decently at the Masters, I think he has a very good chance to win it. So that's my first pick, Justin Thomas. My second pick, I'm going to go with Patrick Cantlay at 25-1. So first things first, no holes in his game. Is he the best at anything on tour? No, but he's very good at just about every single stat. But the main reason why I like Patrick Cantlay is because he's in great form. His most recent start just a couple weeks ago, you might remember he won. It was the Zozo Championship, and that had a very stacked field as well, so he can beat the best of the best. And also, he did very well at last year's Masters as well. He finished tied for 9th at the 2019 Masters. So I think Patrick Cantlay has a very good shot to get his first major win on the PGA Tour. And then finally, my last pick is Ricky Fowler, a little bit of a dark horse. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ricky Fowler hasn't won a major. He chokes tournaments at the end of it. I know, I get that, but hear me out. Just like Patrick Cantlay, he has no holes. Is he great at anything? No. Is he bad at anything? No. He's top 100 in all 5 of the key stats I laid out. The main reason why I like Ricky Fowler, though, is he has great history at Augusta. He's finished 12th or better in 5 of his last 6 starts, including a solo second in 2018. And generally, even though he doesn't have a major win, he's done very well in major events. He has 11 top 10s in major events in his career, so he always brings it at the major. And this kind of brings me to my third point for Ricky Fowler. Yes, he might not want to bet on him to win the whole thing at 50-1. He might be in a very good spot to finish top 10 or top 20, though, if you want to look at those betting options. So there you go. Those are my 3 picks to win the Masters. I got my key stats. I got a couple other tidbits there for you. Best of luck, and I hope you all enjoy the 2020 Masters Tournament.